There's a million board games already, right?
Yeah, I'd say definitely.
So which ones are the best ones? So in this video, we're each gonna pick our 10 best board games of all time in our honest, humble opinions.
Objective opinions.
So it's complete truth, and you can't argue.
Well, they can. Actually, they can.
You can. And please do in the comment section which ones in 2023 are our favorite board games of all time. Let's start our strong goal, right?
Yes, let's go.
Lotter card game.
Oh, Lotter card game.
Lotter card game is almost like a classic game at this point. Card collecting game, and build decks with like Aragorn, Legolas and all the other characters and try to defeat different scenarios. It's a cooperative game. You fight against monsters and try to do different quests. I'm still playing it after all these years, and that's why it's deserving to start out the top 10.
I am not playing it anymore. You know why?
Because you sold it all to me?
Yep, pretty much so.
Yeah, it's also a money pit.
Like all these card games, living card games are, yeah. Mine is Rune Wars, that's even older than yours. And that is this epic fantasy game, which at first promoted itself as Fantasy Twilight Imperium. The way to win, you need to control runes on the board and you're trying to take them away from each other, and then there are heroes for each of the nations that just walk around and do their own thing and do quests. So there's many layers to this game. It's a huge epic game. That's one of the reasons I haven't played it as much as I'd like to, and so that's why it's slipping slowly out of top 10, but still holding on.
2-1 Eldritch Horror.
How high was it last year?
7th, I think.
That's not a big slip. This is the first time this is in my top 10 ever. Well, do tell us about Eldritch Horror again.
I haven't talked about it for a year. Relax, mate. It's a cooperative game where you fight the big monsters. You can get tons of items, upgrade, and you really have to work together and plan things and move together.
Sounds super exciting. No, actually, I've played Eldritch Horror way back when, and I do enjoy it.
Why it's slipping is the downtime. It's too much. But anyways, it's one of the best cooperative games, like these big, massive games, and one of my favorites all time, for sure.
Well, mine's Star Wars Rebellion. It's a huge 2 to 4 player epic conflict game where one player plays the rebellion, and their goal is to outlast the Empire by surviving the Empire not finding their base. And Empire generally just wants to find the base of this rebellion and destroy it. It's Star Wars in a box. It covers the original trilogy. There's Death Star, you can destroy planets. There's Han Solo, which can be, you know, caught and put into carbon. Anyway, fantastic game. Moving on.
3, 2, 1. Dwellings of Elder Whale.
Wow.
It's a really feel-good game. A massive game that feels light.
It is a huge box, monsters and different races, yet it plays in a reasonable amount of time and doesn't have too many rules.
You have your workers and you send them to do different stuff. You just try to get more resources, more energy, different magical powers, defeat monsters, but you can get points from a million different things, so there's tons to do.
It's the third time in this video you've said something about million, like million different things, million expansions.
And we really would like million Patreons. If you would check out our Patreon page.
First time when you say million, I'm totally right behind you.
Like intermediate difficulty, I would say. There's a lot of pieces, so you have to do a lot, but it's not too difficult. Our find this year for sure. Watch the review if you would like to know more. Everything that you do feels good.
Mine's Juniperium, which was like the second or the third last year, and it has slipped quite a bit because I bought the deluxe components and haven't played since. Makes me very, very sad, and I guess that's why it slipped. But Juniperium is a deck building worker placement game in the world Dune. We're just playing different houses and trying to get the most victory points, and there's conflict and fighting, and the expansion Rise of X just makes it 11 out of 10 for me.
11 out of 10, but still only 8th?
Yeah, well, it's like 8 of all time. It's not just 8. It's not like I played 10 games and now I'm ranking them. I played 20 games and now I'm ranking them.
2, 1. King's Dilemma.
Here I Stand was my number 1 game last year. Weirdly enough, I actually played its sequel, Virgin Queen, this year. Well, 2022. And this has slipped. Like from first to, what is this, 7 now? Epic historical diplomatic war game where players play one of the biggest powers of that time, England, France, Spain. What you're trying to do is you're trying to control cities or win a religious victory, because that's of the time the Protestants, when that movement becomes stronger or just appears. A huge, juicy historical war game if you are into historical war games. The problem for this one is why you can't play it as often. You need 6 players and it takes all day.
Yeah, mine is King's Dilemma. It's my favorite story game of all time. Premise of it is that all of you are people voting in King's Court. Different situations come up. For example, this person has stolen something, and do we punish him or not? And you just use your power to vote on different things. Yeah. You present a house that has some interests in different things happening. You're not very objective like we are with all of these games.
Yeah, exactly.
The best story game because we are the ones making that story. You're very, very invested in that. It is something you will probably play just once in your life. I've never fought so much with my friends about like silly, stupid things, and it's amazing. I really, really love this game. There is some things, but there's not a lot more than voting in this game.
Don't play it as a gamer for winning. Just let go. Imagine it's just a story. It's just a narrative. I haven't laughed in a game so hard, even playing party games. Role play your house. An amazing experience, yeah.
3, 2, 1. Juniperium.
Oh, also low.
This is a fantastic worker placement game that you talked about. It's the best worker placement deck building like combination I've played. Just really, really good systems put together in a solid, fantastic game. And the interaction in this game also is really, really cool. That's sometimes missing from a lot of Euros or in general games.
Mine's Clank Legacy.
Mm-hmm.
It's a deck building game, legacy deck building game, which means from game to game you will put stickers on the board, you will rip cards of art, you will write on things, just game changes from game to game. And there's like 10 games you play with this and then you're done with the campaign. And the plot twists and oh jeez, it's amazing. Just playing this makes me think how much work was involved in creating all these branching storylines and everything. If you like deck building games or legacy games, or if you have never played a legacy game, this is a one to try. I think this is the best one I've ever played.
3, 2, 1. Nemesis Lockdown. Lockdown is basically the upgrade on the basic one, but they both work similarly. Lockdown is a bit better in my opinion. There's some life improvement things, not for the characters, they still die, but for playing some improvements for sure. The most thematic game I think in my top 10. Just surviving, horror, sci-fi. There's aliens coming at you and there's somebody probably around the table who wanna stab you in the back.
Yeah.
Secret objectives.
Ask me how many times I played Nemesis Lockdown.
I don't have to ask you, it's 0.
There's 0.
Because it's right there.
And I backed it actually. It's a good thing I did. Anyway, mine's Feed the Kraken. Feed the Kraken is a game I played for the first time in 2022. And this game has fired Battlestar Galactica for me as the best hidden role experience that I've ever had.
Times change.
Times do change. It's just an amazing hidden role experience game that is a board game. And Battlestar Galactica, if you're playing the bad guy, you essentially just can just enjoy, just chill, then wait for that one turn where you can go there, do this one action, and you win. And it always feels anticlimactic. But here in Feed the Kraken, there's no such thing. You always need teammates. You can't do it alone. You have to act your way through it. It's always a long con. It's not going to be one thing that you can do and suddenly win. There's a ship, and on the ship there are pirates who want to go one way, there are crew members who want to go the other way, and then there's the cultist leader who either wants to go the third way or gets sacrificed to the Kraken.
It's a really good mix of like simplicity and tons of fun. And also that's one of my games that was in the top 20 video that we did for our Patreons. If you want to see not only 1 to 10 but also 11 to 20 games of all time, that extra video is available only to our supporters on Patreon or YouTube membership, so don't miss out.
So there's Wonderland War, then there's that one which we recently got, which I'm not going to spoil for them, and there's 2 more, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Terraforming Mars and then Ares. No, one of those. I think Ares fell out of like way. No way. Oh my god, I had a revelation. Seriously, that high? No way.
2, 1. Terraforming Mars.
Yeah,
you were right on this one. My favorite Euro game of all time. It stood the test of time. There was small romance with Ares Expedition.
Knew it. It's gone.
But it's gone from my top. Terraforming Mars is just more satisfying for me. We talked about this in our Patreon video. You really like space, you really like deck building, you really like war theme, and other things that I don't care about anymore. And I really care about engine building, systems, having cards, and each time getting better. Playing one card, any action I do, I just get better, more points. Terraforming Mars is that. The winner is who's gonna be the most efficient about it. Just feel good games. And Terraforming Mars for me is that game. There's just plenty of options to do, and you just never get bored of it.
And Dwelling Zelda, we already talked about it. This huge, epic hybrid worker placement that feels huge, epic, that is actually accessible and plays in a reasonable amount of time. I really want to know what that one that I can't figure out is.
3, 2, 1. Spirit Island.
Ah, yeah. How did I forget about Spirit Island?
That one.
Yeah. Ah, yeah, I should have known.
It was in the background. Spirit Island, it's a cooperative game, a heavy cooperative game. It's something that will kind of blow your mind how many choices you have and what decisions you need to make to win the game. Because you are spirits of an island and intruders are coming and you have to play your cards and like synergy with other players and synergy with your character's special abilities to kind of push away those invaders or kill them. If you do successfully do that, you win, the island stays yours and clean. If you don't, then the invaders come and destroy you and you lose your powers, and that's essentially it. Very, very tough game, I would say, and challenging. Yeah, that's satisfying, and I really like tough cooperative games, and this one fits the box for sure. And replayability. This is one of those games you could buy and play for years and you wouldn't want any other game. Not the case for us, because we have hundreds of games already, but in mostly one person can play this for a million years.
Well, mine's Eclipse Second Dawn. Well, guess what? It's in space. Guess what? It has dice rolling. Who knew? But it's also a hybrid game, because I like those a lot. Which this is a Euro Twilight Imperium. That's at least what it's described as. It's shorter than that. It plays up to 6 players. You also get your own race. You develop it. There's more emphasis on tech and like economics than in Twilight Imperium. And I finally got my own. So I'm gonna play the hell out of it in 2023 at least 2 times.
You see what our lives have become.
Yeah. Okay.
3, 2, 1. Hadrians Wall.
No, it's not that. I thought totally different game.
Yeah, I know you did.
Which one do you think I thought?
Skyrim.
Yeah.
Hadrian's Wall is a roll and ride game. My favorite solo game, hands down. That's why it's here. I play a lot solo this year. I don't remember the last time I played so many games with one game. It's just so satisfying. I recently played it again 2 days ago with one of my friends, and I just remembered, it's so good. In general, you get a bunch of resources, and it's just 2 sheets of paper and a pen. And how the hell 2 sheets of paper and a pen can beat out all these epic big games, Nemesis and all that? Because it's so simple to set up. It's actually the reason why it's so high up is because I can pull it out of the shelf and we can play it in like a minute, and it will make you feel better than most of these games. It's just really, really good.
Mine's Twilight Struggle. Twilight Struggle is a 2-player card game, historical about the Cold War. It has dice. It has
you do like your 2-player games as well,
I
yes?
do like my 2-player games, I guess. Yeah. 2-player card game about the Cold War, where you're trying to control regions. Essentially, it's not really a war game. It's more of like an area control game. It's quite long. It takes around 3 hours, but the feel is epic, and it's just amazing. My first GMT game I ever played, GMT being the publisher, and GMT Games is my favorite publisher.
The best game of all time ever is
Nemesis
Wonderland War.
Yeah. Essentially, you already talked about Nemesis.
Yep.
Nemesis, this is horror survival space in the game where you're trying to essentially survive. Not win, but you won't do either of those, so don't worry. And if you've seen Aliens, the movie, the first or the second one, you know what this is all about. Betrayal, there's a lot of interaction, it's about aliens chasing you, and it's definitely not a game for everybody. It's a very punishing game where you can technically die on your first turn.
Yeah.
If you're not careful.
Yeah. Our record, I think, is 15 minutes. Mine is Wonderland's War. And why it is number 1? It is because there's everything I like about board games. There's drafting, which I love. Push your luck, which is just always thrilling and exciting, pulling out chips from your bag.
I also like a deck building, pool building.
Colorful. It's area control, which means tons of interactions and emotions. There's also this upgrading system where you have your Alice in Wonderland's character, Alice herself maybe, and you constantly upgrade her and get better. There's like synergies between the actions and dice, and it's so satisfying all around. Something that you have said about it is that whenever you pick the cards, there's a big table and cards around there. Whenever your turn comes, you just pick one card from there, but all of them look so good and you don't want to leave any of them, and there's always tons of good choices between one good thing and another good thing. It's interesting. It's something that I show to people and they immediately want to play it, and when they play it they immediately want to play it again. Yet of course there's tons of things and somebody will think maybe it's too messy for you.
Yeah, I was actually gonna say that the all the different things quite fit together. Different parts, but it feels natural to go from one to the second to third. Yeah.
Like the box itself looks intriguing, and the game continues on this thread. It's just intriguing to do all of these things, and the theme just fits. Really, really good design. My favorite game of all time. Tell us, what are your top 10 games? Your very objective thoughts about board games. We like board games. These are board games we like. That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
Leave board games that you like in the comments. We'll see you next time.